my name is Megan. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I hope you guys are doing well and staying safe, and welcome to today's video, which is a very collective book haul. Now, I haven't done a book haul for essentially half of 2022 and all of 2023 so far, so this is it, folks. Grab some snacks, grab something to drink, because we're gonna be here for a while. Also, 2 disclaimers before we start. First, yes, you are on the correct channel. I did dye my hair back to brown. Most of you, I feel like, would not have seen me in my brown era, which brown is my regular hair color. We're back to basics, folks. So yes, it's still me, just different hair. Also, I got a new camera, so I think this should be a lot better with like the focus and the coloring and all of that stuff, but bear with me because it's the first video we're filming on the new camera, which is both exciting and terrifying. Now, without further ado, let's just jump on in because there's a lot of books. So I split those up into like different categories. We're gonna start with ARCs and then move our way into YA and so on and so forth. So let's begin. I have received 3 ARCs from HarperCollins, which I am so happy when I get any sort of ARCs for them. The first one being The Fake by Zoe Withall. This is a con artist that walks into a grief support group and then chaos ensues. I'm not sure if this is more like a mystery thriller. That's kind of like the vibes I'm getting from it. This is super short. It's like, I'm not even sure if it hits the 200 pages, but I've seen really great early reviews. This comes out in March, so look out for it. I don't know much more than that, but the plot sounded intriguing, but then again, I don't want to read the synopsis because it might be a thriller / mystery and I don't want to spoil anything, so I got this one. I also got 7% of Roe de Verreur, is how I would say it. This is a YA contemporary and it's for fans of Emma Lord and Alex Light, which I love Alex Light with all of my heart. The Upside of Falling, that was the bomb. So this is about a girl who makes an app that goes viral, and honestly, sounds amazing, right up my alley. I have been in a YA mood recently, so can't wait to get to this. This one is already out. It came out in January. And then we have The Personal Assistant by Kimberly Bell, which is a, obviously, mystery thriller adult. I don't want to know too much about this one because I don't want to spoil myself. I read the synopsis when I was offered this ARC by HarperCollins, but I have not read it since and I want to keep it that way. So we're just gonna move on, and if you are interested in any of these, look at the release dates. This one released like November 29th of 2022, so it's been out for a while. Moving on to YA, the first one on my stack is 1,000 Miles by Bridget Morrissey. This is a book that sounds absolutely right up my alley because it has a road trip element, a podcasting element, 2 friends that are no longer friends. This follows Dee and Ben. I don't know if it's dual perspective. Let me see. It is. Y'all know it's my favorite thing. And essentially they were best friends and something happened to them prior to the start of this book, and now Dee, one of the main characters, has a podcast and she talks about friends, family, a bunch of different things, but she will not talk about her ex-best friend. And I think that for some reason they have to go on another road trip together and rekindle the friendship, and obviously probably romance will ensue. I read a book similar to that by Casey West. I also read other road trip books in YA form that I absolutely adore. It's really one of my favorite tropes, so I cannot wait to get to this. And this released like late 2022 and I haven't heard anyone talk about it, so hopefully it's good. Then we have an obvious one, which is Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. This is a dual perspective YA contemporary about Bradley and Celine. They used to be best friends again, and then stuff happened and they both end up in a survival course. And I think they're both high achievers and they kind of try to outdo each other and end up falling in love. I've heard great things. Everybody I follow has given this book 4.5 stars. Love to see it. Then we have one I'm especially excited about, and that is Beauty and the Bushram by Lily Vale. If you have been here before, you know my love for Lily Vale. She wrote some of my favorite books. Her first YA debut novel made me sob. It was a beautiful story, but I'm just very emotional about her writing, and this is her second YA book because she does YA and romance, and this one is about a high-achieving Desi teenager and her nemesis, and for some reason they start doing this competition over the summertime, and it's kind of to prove like which of them is superior, but they end up falling in love, and I just know I'm going to have a blast with this one. I love the YA characters that Lily Vale comes up with. They're so relatable, and just her books are a mixture of funny and heartfelt, but also very hard-hitting, because her characters are usually in that transitional phase where they are finding each other and like finding themselves, and I cannot wait for this. And then we have a book that's kind of outside my comfort zone, but I'm very excited about it, and it is All of Us Villains. I got this as a used copy. It's by Amanda Foody and Christine Lynn Herman. I love Amanda Foody. I loved her other series. I'm blanking on the name of it, but it's like that one was a wild ride, and I am expecting great things from this. This is about a like generational contest that happens on the blood moon with 7 families, and it's kind of them using their magic to kind of be the family that controls everybody else, and it's like a tournament, so I'm very excited. This is just a duology, so I think it's very feasible for me because I don't read a lot of fantasy, but if Amanda Foody writes something, I'm willing to try it. I love her writing. So those were all the YA. Now moving on. Moving on to graphic novels. I literally just have 2, so it will be a quick little round. But we have Crumbs by Dani Sterling. This was a webtoon comic, and it looks adorable. And look at this naked hardback. I'm sorry, like, isn't this beautiful? Thank you. This has to do with baking and I think witchiness. I'm excited. It looks fantastic. The art style is right up my alley, so I am excited to kind of curl up in bed and just kind of read this in one go. Very excited. How many times did I say excited? And then I picked up Lore Olympus Volume 3. I have yet to read Volume 2 because I feel like I need to binge a few of them back to back, and Volume 4 is releasing much later this year. This is the Waterstone exclusive cover, and this everybody has been talking about. It's like Greek myth, Hades and Persephone's. This was also a webtoon, yes, and I read the first volume, absolutely loved it. The color palette, the art style, gorgeous, and this was on heavy sale on Waterstones when I got it, so I could not pass up that deal. I do feel like I'm going through these pretty quickly, but because I have so many, I don't really see the point in like going into like every synopsis and like going through it, so I just want to kind of show you what I got, and then if you guys have any questions, you can leave comments down below. You can look on Storygraph, Goodreads, the whole shebang. So moving on to traditionally published books that are not special editions. We have Loathe to Love You by Ali Hazelwood. This is the collection of her 3 STEM novellas that she put out. I loved the first 2. I have yet to read the 3rd one, but this also has a bonus chapter, which I have no idea what the bonus chapter is for, but there's a bonus chapter. So I wanted a physical bind up because I love them. I want to go back and annotate them because honestly, they are amazing. I don't care what anyone says. This is it. These are superior novellas. We then also have this poetry collection by Atticus, which, yes, I'm basic. I love Atticus with all of my being. His words are very comforting. They hit the feels. I know he's a very modern poet. Everybody can agree to disagree on whether you like him or not, but I do. I just love, and I love how, like, I don't think you guys will be able to see it, but it's like a color grade on his like the papers, which I have read half of this already. I'm trying to slow my pace because he doesn't come out with poetry that often, so I'm kind of taking it in, but I've been really enjoying this collection so far. Then we have Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score, which, yes, this is traditionally published by Bloom Books, and I'm very excited for this. I read, what is that other book? Hold on. By a Thread. I read By a Thread last year, and I really enjoyed it. It was kind of like The Devil Wears Prada romance kind of thing, but I think that the plot of this will be more up my alley, and everybody has been raving about this, whether it's on BookTube, Bookstagram, TikTok. Everybody and their mom has read and enjoyed this, so I need to be on the bandwagon because the second book just came out. It's a companion novel, and this is like a grumpy sunshine. I think there's a little bit of like mystery drama in here, which I'm hyped for. It is thick though, which is kind of putting me off from it, but I'm still very excited. And the last one on this list is On Rotation by Charlene. I should have looked that up before, but this is kind of like Grey's Anatomy romance, about an immigrant daughter who goes to medical school, and I think like she was peaking and then her life kind of crashes, and it's kind of her life romance. I've heard really great things, and I am in the medical, like I work in a hospital, so it's very exciting when I kind of get those settings in romance books because so cute. So got this. Moving on to special editions before we tackle that huge pile of indie romances that we're not going to talk about. The first one is The Arctic Railway Assassin, which is like the, I don't remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 adventures on trains. This is a middle grade. Look at these. Please focus on the spine. Like, I'm sorry, how cool is that? I just am very excited. This is a middle grade series about a boy who goes on trains with his uncle and they solve these different kind of mysteries. I really enjoyed The Highland Falcon Thief, and I've been collecting the books, and I could not pass this up on Waterstones because once they're gone, and I wanted it. Similarly, I got Five Survive by Holly Jackson, which, again, isn't this just stunning? And also, look at me, a real YouTuber zooming into things that you can actually see. So this is a standalone YA mystery. It came signed, and it all takes place within like a day or a weekend. Look at this. And it's clearly like they're in an RV, which is why like the crash and everything. It just, I started this book, I was on chapter 3, so I barely started, and honestly I think it's going to take some adjusting because it doesn't feel very similar to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which is the vibes I was hoping to get in the writing, but it's very different, so I'm going to have to kind of readjust my expectations, I think, but stunning nonetheless. Then a book I'm extremely excited about is The School for Good Mothers, and this really hits the sweet spot for me as a social worker, future social worker, 2 months. Now there's a tractor. I'm sorry, I live in Canada, what can a girl do? This one has these beautiful edges, and this is essentially about the re-education of mothers, because essentially they are bad mothers and the state takes their children, and so it's like them being re-educated to what the state thinks is being a good mother, and it's like a mystery thriller. And I have worked in similar fields without going into it too much, but this really sparks an interest for me specifically. I would like to make a video and kind of review this or make a reading vlog. Let me know if you're interested, but I would consider it. And now I'm gonna pause because the freaking tractor's gone. We're all good. Now moving on to my 2 Afterlight books. Afterlight is now a bi-monthly subscription, and it's basically romances that get the same love and attention as fantasy books do in a subscription box. So the December November box was Make You Mine This Christmas, and this is essentially a book that was only an ebook, and then Afterlight kind of made a hard copy of this, but it was not out in the world physically, so it's very cool. I love these sprayed edges, and like it has snowflakes on it. Adorable. Love that for me. So this is a sapphic romance, and I think it starts off with a girl who is bisexual, who is like going out with this guy, and she goes home with him for Christmas, and she ends up falling in love with his sister. I don't know if they were fake dating, her and the guy, and then she falls in love with his sister, so it makes things complicated. I have not read this yet. I'm gonna have to wait till next holiday season. And then what I'm extremely excited about is X's and O's by Amy Lee. This is the second book in a companion series. The first one was Set on You. This, y'all, is absolutely freaking stunning. I just love this, and it has like art. This is when they started to like kick it up a notch with the books. They are charging like $2 more, but they're giving it. I mean, this here, folks, take notes. This is my dream. My dream. This is a girl who is a bookstagrammer, and she is essentially revisiting her exes to try to find love, and with that whole process she gets the help of her firefighter roommate. And if you know me, if you've been here before, they were roommates. It's that slaps. Favorite trope, I think. So very excited for this, and the fact that she loves books. I have seen glowing reviews. Very excited. And the last of my special editions is actually the third Heartstopper book by Fairy Loot, with the beautiful green, the beautiful end papers, and Nick and Charlie, as always, my little babies. This apparently has some printing issues, so Fairy Loot will be sending us other copies once they're made. I don't really know what the printing issue is, but I have a copy, and it's also signed by the queen herself. So I have the two other ones that have come out so far. I love Heartstopper. It's 110% the best graphic novel series I've ever read. Nick and Charlie are my favorite little angels, and you can't tell me otherwise. So now let's move into the insane amount of indie published romances I have. The angle changed. I apologize. I needed to switch out my batteries. Now, indie books are my thing, and I got gifted 4 by some friends, so let me show you them first. The first one I have is Needs More Time. This is it? I keep forgetting if it's dual perspective or not. No. But this is a romance of a teacher going through a global pandemic, and she ends up going on a annual retreat to like a camp thing, and then she and the camp director, which if you know me, camp anything, camping is my jam. I love it. So finding a romance book that had those themes, love it. And this was gifted to me by Jason, so thank you very much for that. I think I did show this in a vlog. And then I was also gifted in a jam by Jason for the holiday season, and this is a romance book that first, the cover of this, absolutely adore, and it sounds right up my alley, you guys. This sounds like the sweetest thing. It's dual perspective. It's about this main character who was left a tulip farm, and to inherit it, I think she needs to get married, and all of that was going fine and dandy until she was engaged, and then her partner broke up with her, and so I think she goes into kind of a marriage of convenience with a guy who she had a crush on in high school, and he has a daughter. It's hitting all the tropes. Single parent, yes please, on a farm, tulip farm, whatever it is. Everybody has been raving about this book. I cannot wait to read this one. Like, I genuinely can't. Thank you again, Jason, for this wonderful gift. I feel like Jason specifically knows when to send gifts, because every time I'm kind of struggling mentally, I get home to like some book mail, and it's like the most incredible thing ever. very blessed. And then I got 2 gifts from Amélie. The first one being All Roads Here. I got this as a Christmas gift, and this is by Mariana Zapata. Again, a small town romance, going back to a small town, slow burn, because Mariana Zapata is always slow burn, and this I feel like is one of her most talked about books in a positive way. Everybody loves this one, and yeah, some people who don't even enjoy romance, I feel I've seen them read this and really enjoy it. So extremely excited for this, and thank you, Amélie. I really want to read all of Mariana Zapata's books, so feeling incredibly blessed. And then she also gifted me Flawless by Elsie Silver, which it was so sweet. Essentially, we had live reading sprints together, and then she sent me this as a thank you, which was such a nice gesture. This is a cowboy romance, and again, I am a very, I love country, the countryside. I went to school between a couple of crop fields, and honestly, I felt like that was like my place. I love it. I'm not saying I'm an actual country girl, because I'm not, but I love the feeling and the vibes. So this I think is going to hit, because Elsie Silver has been like gaining so much traction on the internet. She is Canadian, thank you very much. Is this dual perspective too? I might lose my shit if it is. It is! I'm gonna love this, I already know. So thank you to these kind friends for gifting me these books. And honestly, you guys, it's just, no one ever needs to, but I've been struggling. Like, the past few months have been insanely, incredibly difficult, and the last week, let's not even talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I'm dead inside. So these lovely gifts are just so kind and thoughtful. So thank you. Now let's go on to the damage I did with all the indie romance. The first stack I'm going to talk about is a stack of 3 books, and these are probably not going to be for everyone, but this is like a romantic comedy series following 5 different friends. They are closed door romances, okay people? There's some like cute scenes, steamy scenes, but there's no sex scenes in here. That's what closed door means. I love them, and essentially the author was changing up the covers, so I wanted to collect as many as I can before they were going to change them. I think I'm missing one, unfortunately, but we have Falling for Your Best Friend, which is a best friends to lovers trope. They literally say it in the title, and I'm currently kind of reading this one. We have Falling for Your Fake Fiance, which is a fake dating trope. I really enjoyed this one. This was the first I read in the series. Highly recommend. And then we have Falling for Your Enemy, which I have yet to read. I do have, as I said, another one which I've read also, but I really do enjoy these books. I really like the writing style. This is also dual perspective. Yes, it's dual perspective. I just sometimes like a sweet romance that isn't too hot and steamy. It depends on my mood, you know? Similarly, we have Eloise and the Grump Next Door, which is another kind of romantic comedy, which is co-written by Emma St. Clair, who wrote the series I just spoke about, and Jenny Proctor. I don't know if this is also dual perspective. Take a shot every time I say dual perspective. And this is like on a small island. This is going to be a few companion novels following, I think, different sisters or something like that. And it has to do with a bed and breakfast. It's just all the summery, cozy vibes that I'm currently needing with all of this snow that is making me incredibly depressed. So love it. Like, I really want you guys to see this beautiful cover. This is a vibe. This is a vibe. Love it. Again, I'm assuming will be closed door. Another series I can talk about in bulk is the Love Light Farms series by B.K. Borson. The first book in the series is Love Light Farms. This is a fake dating, like 2 best friends fake date, and then they've been in love with each other, and then magic happens. It's set around Christmas time. I had every good intention of reading this around Christmas time, but as I said, my life is kind of hellfire. Like, it just keeps burning and burning and burning and burning, and I can't do anything to stop the fire at this point. So then we have Mixed Signals, which this is, I don't remember the tropes for this one, but it sounds fantastic. Love the cover, and this has to do with baking, and all of these have been on TikTok for such a long time, and everybody's making aesthetic videos of them, and I'm like, once I get to them, I'm not gonna stop talking about them, I know. And we also have In the Weeds, which this one is kind of farm vibes again. Look at this cover. These have been picked up by a publisher, but I am so happy I have the indie published versions of these. I love them, and I like crisp white pages, which this is definitely crisp white pages. So yes, everybody and their mom has read this and loved it. I gotta read it too, you know? That's how the hype works. I have 2 more Elsie Silver books. I have Heartless, which I got for myself because I just know that once I start reading the series, I'm never gonna want to stop. So I got this for myself, and I also got Off to the Races, which is another dual perspective romance in a small town. That's kind of Elsie Silver's thing, and this is a 4-book series that follows, again, it's a companion series. These books are cheap. Like, they were $14 Canadian, which unheard of in Canada. Do I want the rest of the series? Yes. They are sitting on my Amazon wish list, and every time I have a bad day, I'm like, I want to buy you. So how much longer can I resist? I feel like I would want to make a video of like binging these, because the tropes for every single one of these hit so incredibly hard. So let me know if I should buy the rest of them. We have like 5 books left. None of them have a theme, so we're just gonna like go through them. One I've never heard of online is Coffee and the Contingency Plan by Jessica Costello. This, see, I always have to double check. These are dual perspective again, and this is, I think it's a young adult, and it's 2 people who are paired for a project together, and they can't agree on anything besides their favorite coffee shop, and then they start working on the project together, and I guess they get along better than expected. The synopsis for this just sounds absolutely adorable. I think I'm really gonna jive with the writing style of this author, so I'm very excited. I love the cover, and sounds right up my alley. I think I've mentioned this in a video recently. I got A Long Time Coming by Megan Quinn. This will be my first Megan Quinn book. Again, dual perspective romance. And this is the 3rd in a series of companion novels, but I specifically wanted to read this one because of the tropes. This is like a girl and boy best friend who, you know, are very close, but the girl is getting married, and I guess the guy was like fine and dandy with it until he kind of starts helping plan for the wedding, and he realizes like, I'm in love with her, she's my best friend, I don't want her to marry someone else, and then he has to kind of get the girl while she's planning her wedding. I just hope there's no cheating, because we don't do that in fiction, we don't do that in reality, we just don't. So I hope that doesn't come in and like crush all of my dreams. But over the years I've realized how much I like friends to lovers. I think it's a wonderful dynamic. You really do know the person. It's kind of easy to create that bridge between friends and lovers, in my opinion, a lot more than enemies to lovers. So it just makes sense, you know? I also got a copy of Final Offer by Lauren Asher. This book is thick. It's almost 600 pages. This, again, I think is a friends to lovers, but kind of, they were friends when they were younger, and then they kind of were apart, and it has to do with, like, this is the Dreamland Billionaire series. I am not making any sense, and it follows 3 brothers. This one is Callahan, and in his kind of inheritance, to get his inheritance, he has to go live at their family lake house for a year, and he kind of goes in wanting to like live in it and then sell it, but then when he gets there, his old friend Alana is living in the lake house, and she also has a part of it that is like her own, like she owns part of the lake house, and obviously they have kind of a friction between them, and then they end up being friends and falling in love again. Everybody says that Callahan is the best brother. I think I would die on the hill that Ronan is probably going to stay my favorite, but we never know. So there's that. 2 more books. One of them is Return to Us by Corinne Michaels. This cover, love it. This is a single dad, I think. Yes. Single dad trope, small town, everybody likes Corinne Michaels. I've never read her books, so I'm starting with this one because, again, single dads, fantastic trope. And the last book is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I picked this up again before it was taken by a publisher. I read a couple of chapters. This is dual perspective. Very honestly, I have the feeling I'm not going to enjoy this as much as I want to. I just think it's gonna be a very basic read. TikTok hyped it up. Do I kind of regret getting this? Yes and no, because the cover is gorgeous, but I don't think this is going to be an all-time favorite. I can't pinpoint why, I just have that feeling. So that was it for my very massive haul. I hope you guys enjoyed the video quality and that it turns out well, because it's going to be a learning process, but I think it turned out good. So let me know if you have any of these books that you want to hear more about, if you have any questions about any of them, if you want me to make specific videos reading any of them, and yeah, I'll catch you guys with another video soon, and thank you so much for watching. Bye guys, happy reading.